Okay, here's the power cord for the charger and the battery for the little excavator that you'll need to plug the two together. All right, an adapter, at least the power source is not included, so you'll have to include your own USB power plug. The manual says that when you plug it in, it'll take about 3 hours for the initial charge. When it's first plugged in, you'll notice that there's a little red light that comes on, and they say that when it's fully charged, that light will turn off. Before the battery is installed, be sure that the switch is turned to the off position. The remote control for the excavator requires 2 AA batteries. They include a little screwdriver to open up the back. One small Phillips head screw that the screwdriver is pointing to, that has to be loosened, and then there's a latch just above it that has to be depressed in order to open the case. The batteries are clearly marked. The flat part goes against the spring, but there's also a small diagram to tell you which way to install the batteries. So you just install those, put the case back on, and screw back in the screw. Okay, to access the battery pack on this excavator, you're going to need to turn it upside down, but I want to call your attention to a little feature that might surprise you if you don't know about it. This little thing comes up. There's even a nice little thing to hold it here, like so, but it doesn't latch in place that I can tell. So when you turn it upside down, it's going to flop on you. When this excavator came to me, the switch was in the on position by default, so be sure you turn it off before you go to replace the battery. You're going to have to remove that screw. When you do, you need to be aware that that screw comes completely loose, so you don't want it to drop on the floor and miss it. So I've loosened the screw, and then I've taken this little latch and undid it. You're going to be able to access the battery compartment from there. When you get the battery compartment open, you'll see the connector that will go to the battery, and you can see that 3.7 there. That's going to just be where you lay the battery when it's fully charged. One thing that I found interesting is that there are 4 little places that say 1.5 volts, as if they retrofitted this with a rechargeable battery. It's also not possible to actually use AA's in here because there's no electrical connections for the batteries, but you can see that they originally had this designed to run on 4 AA batteries. Once you've connected the battery to the actual connector, you can go ahead and put back on the cover, but be sure that you have remembered to put in the little wire. And there's that screw that I told you about. And that's easy to lose. And you can go ahead and turn it on and set it up right. Once I turned on the excavator switch, that little light starts to flash. Looking over here at the remote, we're going to take it and turn it on. And I'm going to go ahead and just push the, once that's on, I notice that the light turned on fully. So there's a light switch here which I can turn off and turn on right here, this button. On. But there's a demo mode right here, this button right here. So I'm going to push that and see what happens. And there it is. It's done with its demo. One thing I did notice about the remote control, that's a good thing to know, there's a forward and backward right here. But it's not forward and backward according to which way the driver is facing. It's forward and backward according to the treads. And you'll notice that there's a drive gear back here, that's at the rear, and then there's no drive gear here. So if you're going forward on this and backwards, but if you rotate him around, let's go the other way, he's reached the extent of his, so if I say forward, he's going to go backwards relative to the driver, but he's still going forward with the treads. So that is one thing that you'll want to be aware of.
Up and down function for your basket, and the steering is interesting and takes a little bit of finesse. When it's not moving, it's easy to turn very sharply, but when you're driving it, you got to get a little bit used to making the turns. So overall, it's a pretty nice toy. Thank you.
Okay, now, go ahead.
Go!
Oh, well, you gotta say on your mark. Wait, Zelda.
On your mark, get set, go.
Ah.
Hey!
Ah.
Go, go!
Okay, guys. Let's go ahead and let me empty the load. Doggies. They don't like them. All right, Mommy and Wesley racing. Ready, set, go. There it goes. Go, Wesley. Yes, no. Get him, Wesley.
Mai ra đi ăn ở trên Johnny. Johnny, Johnny, Johnny. Mama, theo chị today.
move forward.
Yeah, I running good. That sucks. That sucks. Tire not spinning. One light missing.
Unfortunately, this product is not as described. The bucket, everything falls out because the bucket tips forward instead of up.
Or nothing.
É a raio.